Wolf Alice, Blue Weekend album review. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest from Wolf Alice, UK-based alternative rock band. They've been at it for years now, and you know what? At first, they really caught me off guard. Their debut album, My Love Is Cool, was a really sharply written album that blended a lot of really fantastic genres like indie rock and dream pop, as well as post-grunge and shoegaze. A lot of ways it reminded me of what I used to be super into in high school. It was catchy as hell, but it had some teeth to it. And their follow-up, 2017's Vision of a Life, honestly, I really loved that album too. It had some of their best tracks to date, Don't Delete the Kisses, as well as Beautifully Unconventional. Overall, I would consider myself a fan of their stuff, but leading up to this new album, they were obviously going in a new direction with the singles, and I wasn't too keen on some of them. However, this album has been receiving nothing but rave reviews, I feel like. Let's chat about this thing. This album starts off with The Beach, and honestly, this is a stellar intro. It's not overly flashy, it's not elaborate or gaudy or anything like that, but it is gorgeous. I love the quiet vocals in this atmosphere that's just dripping in neon, I feel like. It also builds really wonderfully, too. It's a very epic and glorious start to this album. It just, like a lot of the early work from Wolf Alice, it chugs at my heartstrings and really brings me back to a simpler time in my musical career. Lipstick on the Glass overall is kind of where I figured I'd hear most of this album. This, to me, just seems like the next obvious step for the band. I love the strummed riff, I love the dreamy atmosphere, and the even dreamier vocals. I would have absolutely eaten this up breakfast, lunch, and dinner in my teen years. And when this track opens up, it sounds great all around. It's a little shoegazy, it's got some dream pop influence, but it's got some teeth. Once again, this works. I've loved Smile since the first time I heard it. It was the first single that I heard here, and it really stuck with me right away, even though it's not honestly where I usually hear Wolf Alice. It's gaudy, it's got this commanding performance, it's very synth-driven, but none of that's a bad thing. It's just a great single all around. If you haven't, listened to much Wolf Alice, I would recommend starting here. Safe from Heartbreak If You Never Fall in Love is one of the more immediate tracks here. It's got a real vintage sound to it. This almost has a late 70s pop feel, but it's gorgeous and it's passionately performed. This is a great deep cut all around. I love the layers upon layers of vocals. And How Can I Make It Okay genuinely made me stop in my tracks. It's my favorite track here by far. It's absolutely gorgeous. It once again has a throwback feel to it. This time though, it actually comes off more like an 80s ballad. But don't get it twisted, this track actually has some grit to it, as well as just all around really electric performances, especially the vocals. Also, I love a lot of the vocal effects in the second half. This track just has this epic, larger-than-life feel to it. It's just really great all around. But when this album is rough, and it does get rough at points, it gets really rough. Play the Greatest Hits is by far my least favorite track here. Now, I am not opposed to Wolf Alice going for a much more heavy, upbeat direction. That's fine. They've done wild tracks in the past, but this ain't it. This is really obnoxious and hard to listen to. And The Last Man on Earth, ever since it dropped as a single, I haven't been that high on it. As far as the softer tune goes, come on, this isn't even the best one here. And you know what? Yes, it's tender, it's sweet, it's well written, but Wolf Alice can do so much more with so much less. I don't know, personally, I'm not completely sold on this newer, gaudier sound for Wolf Alice. Delicious Things has actually lessened on me since this album came out. It does have that big, epic atmosphere that a lot of the best tracks here do. But once again, this, as a lush ballad, it's just really underwhelming. There's much better here. And the vocals here are commendable, actually, but I just feel like I'm sitting around for a few minutes waiting for this track to really get interesting, and it doesn't. I have the exact opposite problem with Feeling Myself. I love the bluesy, jazzy atmosphere on this track. It's the vocals that I'm just not sold on. This track has such a cool atmosphere. It's all here. And you know what? That gritty riff that pops in, as well as those genuinely dark synths, that's money. But the rest of this track is just so average. Now, No Hard Feelings is a late album sleeper. This track is fantastic. All around, I can't say enough good things about this track. This has every ounce of cool that this album has compressed to just one track. It's moody, it's hazy, it has some of the best vocals of this entire album. It's also just so heartfelt and tender and emotional. And the choir vocals, they are a great touch. This is fantastic. But The Beach 2 as a finale is just sort of okay. And you know what? It's a shame because as far as like an atmosphere goes, I think this sums up a lot of what makes a lot of this album really cool. It's a little shoegazy, it's got some dream pop elements, it's light on the ears, but it's also super catchy. That chorus is great. But some of the verses are just okay. I'm not completely sold on this. There is a lot, and I mean a lot, of really great material on this album. And as a lot of it goes, I do see the hype on this thing. But for me, personally, I'd rather listen to either one of their last albums from start to finish before going through this one from start to finish, especially with some of the ballads here. Some of them are just so freaking boring. But still, Wolf Alice is a band that have so much potential and are just doing so many great things right now. And a lot of this is really great. I'm feeling a decent to strong 7, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.